Hi, Boxman, it's me again. Uh, I know that in the last video, when we looked at how to set up a drawing in 3 points perspective, that there was a lot to wrap your head around. It's not easy, right? That's why I call this advanced perspective. But anything worthwhile does not come easy. You can't keep running away every time something is difficult. You have to apply yourself, take it one step at a time, persevere. Anyways, wherever you are, I hope you're okay. Give me a call back when you get a chance. For now, I'm going to continue without you. In the previous video, I had shown you how to set up a drawing in 3 points perspective, which involved finding some secondary station points, which then allowed me to find some 45-degree reference points, and these were used to draw a perfectly square cube. Now, right off the bat here, I want to look at the same example, but rewind this back to the point at which I was about to find those secondary station points, because I want to show you a quick and easy way to do that. First of all, it may seem strange that there is more than one station point, given that the station point is the position of our camera, and there is only one camera. In reality, there is only one station point which exists out here. Because we are drawing on paper, a two-dimensional plane, this same distance from the station point to the picture plane is flipped over onto that same plane. And this applies to all of these secondary station points. The reason we find this point numerous times in different locations is so we can find the true 90-degree meeting point for each pair of vanishing points. And as you know, here there are 3 vanishing points. Now, because all of these station points are at an equal distance from the picture plane, I can take this distance between the vertical vanishing point and the vertical station point and swing that round. In other words, I can place my compass at that vertical vanishing point, extend it out to meet the vertical station point, and swing that distance around like so. The points at which this circle intersects what are the centre of vision lines for each of these vanishing points will be their respective station points. And so from here we can find some 45-degree reference points or points at any other angle. I recently created a video that is available on my Patreon page, which involves using this same setup to construct a drawing digitally, which I then scaled up, printed out and used as an underlay to develop this drawing from a bird's eye view. It's more of a process video in which I was able to demonstrate a lot of useful techniques. Now, in this episode, I want to create another example of a 3 points perspective setup, this time for a drawing from a worm's eye view, where we are looking up at the subject from lower down. As usual, I'll walk you through how to set this up step by step. Firstly, a good point to make is that setting up a drawing from a worm's eye view is the same as setting up a drawing from a bird's eye view, which we have already done, except we are essentially working upside down. To begin, I'll draw out my picture plane and divide this up with a vertical line being my centre of vision line and a horizontal line being my eye level line. Where these intersect in the centre of my picture plane will be the centre of vision point. Now I'll draw my cone of vision, making sure this covers our picture plane, and I also need to decide on what lens to use. In the previous example, I had used a standard lens with a 60-degree angle of view. In this one, I'll use a wide-angle lens with a 90-degree angle of view. So here I line up 2 lines at 45 degrees, moving this along my eye level line until they meet the points in which my circle intersects that centre of vision line. In doing this, I have also established a vertical station point which I can now use to set up a degree of tilt. Now, with this being a worm's eye view, I want to tilt the camera upwards by, let's say, 40 degrees. Now, this is where we start doing things upside down in comparison to the last example, because now my degree of tilt line is down here, a 40-degree line from that station point, and where that meets the centre of vision line will be the level of my horizontal horizon line. And so then from that same point, I'll draw a line at 90 degrees from this degree of tilt line and extend this up until it also meets that center of vision line. And this will be my vertical vanishing point or fade vanishing point. Now it's up here above the horizon line, seeing as we are tilting the camera upwards. So now we also need the left and the right vanishing points, and to find those we also need to find another station point, what can be thought of as a ground plane station point. And we do this by taking this distance between the vertical station point and this point on the center of vision line where we set the horizon line, and we swing this around, this point being its pivot point, until we meet the center of vision line again. This point is the station point we can then use to position a left and right vanishing point. In this example, I'll have them both at 45 degrees. Remember, these can be at any angle you want, but they must total to 90 degrees. Where these lines meet the horizon line down here will be the vanishing points. So that's it for this setup. I'm not going to find any more station points or reference points in this example. I want to keep this one fairly simple. At this stage you are ready to start drawing, but seeing as my picture plane here is a little small in comparison to my A4 piece of paper, I'm going to scale this up in Photoshop and also create a grid. Here you can see for the purpose of this video that I've also set this up again digitally. Now before I scale this up, one thing that would be helpful is if we had a perspective grid, because once we do scale this up, typically a lot of these vanishing points and reference points will be off the page, which is frustrating because you have to estimate where to direct your lines. And so to avoid that, let's create a grid. Now to create this grid, I use a plugin called Perspective Tools V2, and I've mentioned this before. It's a paid plugin, but it is very useful when it comes to creating grids in perspective. Here I select the position of each vanishing point, and it automatically extends some converging lines. I can even change the density of these lines. Now that I have done this, I can scale this up to a more suitable size and print this out. So here is my grid. I can now lay some paper over the top of this, and to help see those grid lines underneath, I am using what is similar to a light box. Seeing as I'm using a wide angle lens here, these vanishing points are closer together anyways, but this is still a useful example. Here I'll start with a large rectangular box that I'll bring down to the horizon line, which is our ground plane, right? In the example I mentioned earlier, I had actually blocked out and constructed a lot of what I was drawing digitally because I often find it easier given that scale isn't really an issue and you have more control. In this example, I've blocked out this building and I'm dividing up these planes to then position some windows and doors. I'll draw a few more boxes around here, what could be other buildings. You can see though how these vertical lines start to fan out, let's say, quite a lot as we progress further outwards from the centre. To emphasise this worm's eye view, I'll even draw a plane up here. Again, I draw this on the same angle so that I can use these grid lines to assist me. Let's add some windows to this building here as well, and we can wrap this one up. It's really up to you as the artist to create what you want. I'm more concerned with showing you how to set all of this up to get you to a stage where you can create what you want. Anyways, that's it for this one. As always, if you enjoy these videos, then do consider checking out my Patreon page where I create exclusive tutorials and study documents which are essentially tutorials on paper. With that being said, thanks for watching. I'm going to go and try and find Boxman now.